Hey, it's time for you to learn how to sharpen your own knives. First, we're gonna get ourselves set up. I have just a damp kitchen towel. You can also use one of those rubberized mats. Oh, and I have listed all the things in my Amazon shop that I like to use when sharpening knives. Next, I'm gonna lay my Suhiro C-Rax 1000 sharpening stone on top of my damp kitchen towel. Then I have a coffee cup full of water that I'm gonna keep near me so I can just re-wet my stone as I need to. You wanna sharpen your knives at about a 15 to 20 degree angle. So what that means is that if this is 90 degrees, this is 45 degrees, we're gonna go all the way down to about a 15 to 20 degree angle. So what I like to do is I'll grip the knife as if I'm going to use it, but this time I will leave my index finger on the spine of the knife. This allows me to lock my wrist, maintaining the angle of my blade, and we're gonna start scrubbing our knife on the stone. This hand naturally has enough pressure against the stone. As I scrub, I'm going to move this hand up and down the length of the blade, just making sure there's enough pressure to maintain my 15 to 20 degree angle. And as I sharpen, I have my grip on my knife, my wrist is locked, and I am using my elbow and my shoulder to control the angle of my knife. As I get to the tip, I lift up, and also the passes on the stone. My wrist stays locked, I'm using my elbow and my shoulder. And before we switch to the other side, if your knife is even relatively sharp when you started, you're gonna feel for what's called a burr on this side of the blade. This will be the side of the knife that was facing away from the stone. If this is our edge under a microscope, as you start to sharpen your knife, the old damaged steel will start to curl away. So the steel on the edge will actually curl over, and this is what you're feeling. This is your burr. And it will almost feel like a fingernail scratching the pad of your finger. Once you feel that burr the entire length of the blade, it's time to sharpen the other side. A good thing to practice that will make you a much more versatile sharpener in the long run is when you switch sides of your knife, also switch hands that hold the handle of the knife. But as you're learning to sharpen, there's nothing wrong with rotating the stone instead of switching hands. This way you can keep your dominant hand on the handle of the knife, you move from this grip, flip the blade around, and you go to this grip. Now holding that same 15 to 20 degree angle, your support hand goes on, and we scrub this way. As long as you keep a consistent angle, there is nothing wrong with this. I will say if you're starting with a very dull knife, is do about 20 to 30 passes per side before you start to look for a burr. It's so dull when you started that the edge of your knife is gonna become uneven if you focus on one side. Then after about the same amount of time sharpening this side, you're gonna feel this side for a burr. Again, it's the side of the knife away from the stone. What that means is that the old damaged steel that was the burr on one side has now flipped to the other side, and you've created a brand new apex out of brand new strong steel. Now you can remove that floppy burr at the bottom. And if you noticed before when we sharpened, we went in both directions. So to remove the burr, we're going to go in one direction against the edge of the knife with very light pressure in one single direction. We're holding the exact same angle that we sharpened at, and we're removing that old damaged burr that we created. As you become more of a sharpening nerd and you get into higher grit stones, you're gonna repeat this same process of sharpening, creating a burr, and then removing that burr, even on those higher grit stones. And follow me because I know there's that old dull knife in the bottom of a drawer somewhere that you could be practicing on.